Before we begin our class, let us have the Brahmanad. Om. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Swastha. Now let us go through the poem A Sham of Life. What does Sham mean? Sham means hymn or sacred song. Hence this poem is about the sacred song of life by Henry Wordsworth Longfellow. A Sham of Life is one of the most enjoyable and morally inspirational and instructional poems in literature. The poem very beautifully illustrates lessons on life. The speaker believes that life is not an empty dream. It is full of hopes and possibilities. So, those who call it a dream are really dead. Life is real. Life is very much colorful. It is most valuable and enjoyable. The only way to live is to make it worthwhile. We can make our life noble by discharging our respective duties and responsibilities perfectly. We can make ourselves good and fascinating by making us worthwhile by becoming a good influence for the future generations. The speaker in his message says that as long as one lives, one must progress further, further than before, provide inspiration for others to make their lives sublime by creating their own footprints. This poem belongs to the genre of poetry called Carpe Diem poems. Carpe diem, popularly translated as seize the day, is a phrase from a Latin poem by Horace. This poem inspires to make the most use of time. Now let us go through the poem in detail, line by line. Tell me not in mournful numbers, life is but an empty dream, for the soul is dead that slumbers, and things are not what they seem. In fact, there lives two kinds of people in our society. They are optimists and pessimists. Whom do we call optimists? People who see only the bright side of the things are known as optimists. Whom do we call pessimists? People who see only the dark side of the things are known as the pessimists. Here, the poet Henry Wordsworth Longfellow is an optimist. See now the first line of the poem. Tell me not in mournful numbers. Whom does the poet say not to tell him about life in mournful numbers? He says to the pessimist, or he advises to the pessimist not to sing sorrowful songs. Mournful means sorrowful, numbers means songs. Sorrowful songs about life, as the pessimists always complain against life. What do the pessimists complain about life? They complain that life is but an empty dream. They complain that life shows many beautiful dreams which will never be materialized in true sense. For the soul is dead that slumbers. Here the poet says to the pessimists, how can they materialize their beautiful dreams if they spend their time lazily? Here for is used as a coordinating conjunction, which means because. Here the soul means the spirit. The spirit of a person is dead. Dead means inactive. Because the spirit of the person is inactive and spends time lazily. That is the reason why they cannot find the beautiful things about life. They think that life shows many colorful dreams which will never be materialized because they spend their time lazily. And things are not what they seem. At the same time, they cannot see the things in their real sense. If we wear blue goggles before our eyes, everything will seem to us blue. Similarly, if we wear yellow goggles before our eyes, we have to find things yellow in color. So what we have to do? We have to remove the goggles of pessimism to find out the reality of life. Here in this stanza, the poet is highly optimistic of living in this material world. He advises people not to tell him songs of sorrow. He does not like it. He outrightly rejects the notions of those fellows who said that life is an empty dream devoid of any significant materialistic value. Life, to the poet, is very much meaningful. It is full of hopes and possibilities. It is not wise to look at one side of life and arrive at the conclusion that life is sorrowful. One should know that appearance is not the real substance of life. One who fails to see the real world is actually in slumber. He is dead in living, so to say. Life is real, life is earnest, and the grave is not its goal. Dust thou art, to dust thou returnest, was not spoken of the soul. To counter the views of the pessimists, the poet says that life is real. We are not living the life of others. We are living our own life. Life is very much beautiful. Life is earnest, which means serious. It means some important tasks are assigned to us to be done before our death. And the grave is not its goal. Here the grave means graveyard. The goal of life is not death. We all know that we will die one day. But death should not be our goal in life. So, what should be the goal in our life? The goal should be to complete the work that is assigned to us before our death. Dust thou art, to dust thou returnest. Here, thou means you, art means are. You are dust, to dust thou returnest. This line is taken by the poet from the Holy Bible. We all know human bodies are made up of five elements such as dust, air, water, light, and fire. Dust is one of the materials that our bodies are made up of. And when we die, our bodies will be either burnt or buried. As a result, our bodies will again mix or mingle with the dust. So you are dust. You will return to dust. This line speaks about the mortality of our bodies. Only human bodies die. Was not spoken of the soul. Neither water nor fire can do any harm to our soul. Water cannot drown it. Fire cannot burn it. Even any deadliest weapon cannot do any harm to our soul. This line speaks about the immortality of our soul. Here, the poet presents his own remarks on life. He says that life is real, life is significant. The goal of life is not death. The goal of life is the full blossoming of one's personality. It is a fact that life is mortal. It comes from dust and mingles with the dust in the end. But soul is different from body, which is subject to death. Soul is eternal. It remains unaffected by the forces of death. It is divine spirit that causes birth and death to the human body. Not enjoyment and not sorrow is our destined end or way, but to act that is tomorrow finds us farther than today. In fact, life is not a bed of roses. There are many ups and downs in life. As long as we are alive, sometimes joys will come to us and sometimes sorrows will come to us. But joys and sorrows are not the predetermined aim of life. Not enjoyment and not sorrow is our destined. Destined means predetermined. End means goal or aim. That means the goal, the predetermined goal of life is neither joy nor sorrow, as joys and sorrows are the part and parcel of our life. But to act that is tomorrow finds us farther than today. In these two lines, we have been advised by the poet that we should focus ourselves on our work in order to make our future better and brighter. Kabir said, what is to be done tomorrow should be done today, and what is to be done today should be done now. If we do our work sincerely and punctually, definitely we will make our future better and brighter. In this stanza, the poet says that neither enjoyment nor sorrow is our predestined objective of life. Some people say that life is to be enjoyed so long as one lives. Those who are pessimistic observe that life is full of sorrows and sufferings. But the views of the two categories of people are not correct. Life means activities. Every moment is valuable and useful. Therefore, we have to act wisely and diligently in the present time instead of waiting and expecting an opportunity to come in future. Tomorrow is beyond our reach. It is far away from today. To believe in future is a mistake. So let us not wait for an opportunity to come in future. Let us do our work sincerely and punctually in order to make our future brighter.